These years, well, right after the war, also were marked by your return to Germany, the Paris Opera concert, and which also involved for you the development of your relationship with many musicians that you hadn't played with before.
That's true. At that time, of course, having known de Gaulle and having met the highest people in the American, British, French administration, everything, that was the turning point of my life where international relations between cultures, which had always been latent and potential, took on a more structured, a more formal, how shall I say, presence. And this was Paris, just about a month after the liberation, very shortly. And I had come hopping by plane, as I always did. I said, I'll play in your camp if you transport me. And so with Gazelle, we went to Brussels, played in Antwerp. Terrifying evening after the concerts because the V rockets, V missiles were coming every evening into Antwerp. And they gave me a dinner just before. The concert was in the late afternoon dinner, very official dinner, linen, wine, beautiful, in a house that was next to what had been the Gestapo, and where everyone still spoke in whispers. It was liberated, but everyone spoke in whispers, which was an extraordinary effect of what had been the pressure and the fear and the terror of the German occupation. But then I begged a trip to Le Bourget. We got on the plane, arrived in Le Bourget, found a car going into Paris, and let me see. I think I booked into the Ritz at the time. I think I did. And Paris was a dream city. There was no traffic, and you could see the great layout of the streets and the Champs-Élysées and the Louvre and all. And there were a few very elegant ladies in very high hats, because as they couldn't use material for dresses, it was very severely restricted, they collected all kinds of materials and made themselves huge hats. That was the style for the Parisian woman. They had style, but no food, no material, typically French. And then I immediately got hold of Dandelot, Maurice Dandelot, and said, I'm in Paris, I want to play.
Your agent?
Immediately.
Your agent?
My agent, whom I had known, his father I knew, and so on, very close relationship. And that was, I think, a Thursday. And I had to leave Saturday evening back to England for the first performance of the Elgar Concerto on Sunday with Adrian Bolt in Bedford.
Of the Bartók?
Of the Bartók. The Bartók Concerto with Adrian Bolt, Bartók and Mendelssohn. And Monday I had to leave for the United States. So on the Thursday, he got hold of the Opera House, which had been closed. The Opera House had to be reopened. Got the tickets printed, got the tickets on sale. Saturday morning, the tickets were put on sale. The concert was sold out in no time. Benefit for the French army. And I forget the name of the general's name in whose...
Leclerc?
Leclerc, yes, Leclerc, of course. And I rehearsed with Munch that morning in the Opera House, and Munch looked at the Mendelssohn Concerto, very excited, and saw Allegro molto appassionato. We started again in the... And Mendelssohn hadn't been played in France, of course, and Jewish composer. So the program was the Lalo, Mendelssohn, or Mendelssohn, Lalo, Beethoven. And that was a great experience because the audience went wild. We played the Marseillaise for the first time to begin with. And the Americans, soldiers in the car, was there because I had to get back to Villacoublay, where the airport was, to get me back to England that evening, because we had to get back before night, because one of the islands was still occupied by the Germans. Mm-hmm. And the electricity gave way, the electrical system of the plane, so we had to land at the first field we found. And there we were back in England, you know, an hour after the end of this jubilant concert, Marcel and I with 2 bags in a field in South England. And we walked to a road and finally found a bus. But that was an unforgettable concert.